Back on that positive note from the start of the last segment, I forgot to get to the good news about the backyard event. My speech, Jesse Ventura's speech, Willie Nelson's speech, and his performance will be streamed free live over the internet next Sunday night at about 9 p.m. A bunch of other bands out there at the backyard. But, yep, that's right. Free, ladies and gentlemen. Video streamed out there to everybody at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Speaking of PrisonPlanet.com, Alex Jones on International Press TV discussing the economic implosion. Alex joins a panel of experts on International Broadcast Press TV to discuss the financial meltdown, the price of oil, inflation, the devaluation of the dollar, and how the bailout is a global consolidation of real assets and centralization of economic power on behalf of the elite. When the show ends in about 27 minutes, if you want to go watch that video, it's free up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. I want to go to your calls here, loaded phone lines, but actually there's one line somebody just hung up at 877-590-5525, 877-590-5525. Are you angry about this New World Order being set up? We told you they were lining it all up, gearing it all up, setting it up. Now they're doing it by bringing the world into a depression, and they only want to make it worse to get more control. Are you angry about that? And I'll tell the police again, 14 million first responders, firemen, police, sheriff's deputies, doctors, county employees, city employees, medical workers, they were all told to take the smallpox shot. Remember, they said, oh, it's the law, but there was no law. You've got to. And police unions just said no. It's the same thing. We're all in this together. They always test stuff out on the police and military. People can say, well, the military, they've signed a contract. Well, law says you can't give them an experimental shot, but they do, and it's killed them en masse. But Dr. Deagle, finishing up your point you were making about all this. We got Dr. Deagle there?
Yeah, and you've been saying it for years. It's part of the hard kill. And I believe that they're getting ready because these vaccines, they deliver.
Let's explain. Fluoride, mercury in the vaccines, MSG, all that's the soft kill in government documents to weaken us. You're talking about hard kill, which is the UN plan for world population reduction. Right.
March 16th, 1997, when I spoke at Zurich, Switzerland, Human Life International, they gave me a foot of documents, including a private audience and documents smuggled out of the World Health Organization, paid for by these globalist banksters, to actually weaponize using bioengines and create an H5N1 strain that would eventually create an avian pandemic. Same lethal genes as the human-pig hybrid flu from 1918. And that, by the way, we have great evidence.
And again, we have thousands of declassified tests in Europe and the U.S. of killing our troops, killing foster children, putting AIDS, HIV in blood, all mainstream news, but the public still isn't fully aware of it. This is a global eugenics operation covered in my film Endgame Blueprint for Global Enslavement.
Right, and the worst nation on earth, believe it or not, in the world for eugenics is Canada. Number one. Not only that, they're planning to shut down the internet and control it with the CRTC. They're planning to do it.
Yeah, they've been that all over, regulating it, taxing it, shutting it down. Right. Infowars.com is not going to be, quote, on the free that you pay for through taxes, government wireless nationwide, worldwide.
Yeah, the evidence is gathering. They suggested 3 months ago there was a 32-month window where they expected a 100% chance of an avian pandemic. I believe that they're going to bring about it by one or several different means. They could do it by the vaccines and have it, quote, spontaneously develop in people by recombining, because they actually put the genes
which is why Tommy Thompson, Health and Human Services Secretary, 5 years ago said he wouldn't take it. And that's when the cops finally said no to taking it, because he said it can go live in the body.
Oh, yeah, and they'll tell you it's attenuated. There's no such thing as an attenuated vaccine. This is a chunk of DNA that when it recombines with another virus, you've got, let's say, an H3N2 that's now lethal. They're ready. I believe they're now ready to do the final, what I call hard kill steps.
Now, let's explain this. They use financial crises, stage terror, provocateur terror, terror they let happen, terror they engineer to get us to give up our liberties, or not even get us to. That's their excuse for doing it. We say no, they still just do it. And you're saying, as they've said in their own documents, they want to use controlled biological releases to create worldwide breakdown as a pretext for control, and I'm telling listeners that is in the cards.
Yeah, and if they don't get their food and water and their nutraceuticals and be able to host quarantine themselves, they're getting ready to force vaccinate, and every single airport in the United States and Canada and the Western world has a quarantine transfer room. and armed officers that can take you away to a waiting van to bring you to a civil detention camp.
Absolutely.
Hey, now that exists.
Dr. Deagle, good hearing from you. I'm glad you called into the show.
I appreciate it, Alex.
You bet, my friend. Just amazing information that Dr. Deagle brings to the table. We appreciate you coming on the show, my friend. He's not joking around. These are cold-blooded killers running the world government. And you can deny that at your own peril, ladies and gentlemen.